Okay, gang, if you caught my last video explaining certificates of deposit, then you know that this can be a great way to get more bang for your savings buck if you have a chunk of cash that you don't mind putting away for an extended period of time. So if you don't know how a certificate of deposit works, pause here and check out the linked video. But if you're sold and want to explore getting one yourself, let's talk about how you can go about finding the best option. So let me take a step back for a second. You will find a bunch of videos or articles touting the best CDs of the year if you do a quick online search. And while those may have great options, here's the thing. CD terms and rates can change while you're shopping around. They only lock in once you actually sign up with an account. And when you think about it, it makes sense. As interest rates fluctuate in the country, banks have to adjust, and they're always trying to offer the most enticing rates that they can. So as much as people may want to tell you that they know what the best CDs are this year, the reality is that can change anytime while you're shopping. So you're better off knowing how to evaluate CD options versus tying yourself to one just because it made it on somebody's top 10 list. Okay, gang, the first thing you're going to want to do is look at the earning potential for all of your different options. And that's going to be based on three key things: the interest rate that the CD is offering, the term periods available, and the amount you plan to put away into that CD. Some of this obviously comes from the bank, like the interest rate, but a good chunk of this is going to come from you, because you ultimately need to choose a term period that you feel comfortable putting your money in for without needing to withdraw it. And remember, that's so that you spare yourself those early withdrawal penalties. So be realistic. Whether it's 1 year, 5 years, or something in between, choose a CD that you're going to feel comfortable not touching that money for that amount of time. And if it's your first CD or you're feeling a little iffy about locking away your money for too long, that's totally okay. Just choose a term period you feel most comfortable with now, and you can always renew it later on or move your money to another CD if at the end of the term period, you decide that you still don't need to access that money right away. So to recap, look at the rates being offered, the term periods, and figure out how much interest you stand to gain at the end of the CD term for each of the options you're considering. In theory, after you decide what term period you're most comfortable with, you want to go with the CD that's going to give you the highest return, barring some other things which we'll get into right now. Okay, up next, you want to read the fine print. Now, we've already covered how CDs generally work, but as you would do with opening any type of account with any financial institution, you want to be aware of all fees and limits associated with that account. You already know that if you withdraw money from a traditional CD before the term period ends, that you're subject to an early withdrawal penalty. But that penalty looks different depending on the bank. For example, for some, it might just be a flat fee, while for others, you may be forfeiting some or all of the interest you may have earned up until that point in your CD. Now, yes, the idea is that you're putting this money away because you won't withdraw it. But regardless of that intention, you still want to make sure you're clear on what it is you're signing up for in the event something happens and you do end up needing to pull your money out. You also want to be aware of any other maintenance or withdrawal fees, and you want to make sure you're clear on the limits to how often or how much you can withdraw from your account. Basically, again, all the things you would typically look out for before signing up with a bank. Now, keep in mind, there is something called a no penalty CD that works very much like a traditional one, except without that standard early withdrawal penalty. These can definitely be a more flexible option, albeit typically at a lower interest rate than a traditional CD. But regardless of what the name says, you still want to make sure you're aware of any and all fees and limits if you choose to open one. And final thing to look for, gang, is what I call comfort and security. Go for banks and institutions that you trust, ones with a track record of handling money, that are FDIC insured, have a functioning website or app, all the types of things you would want from any institution that you're entrusting your money with. And as for figuring out your options, start on the internet. Read those listicles with all the different banks and begin taking your own personal notes so that you can compare rates, terms, fees, and limits for yourself. You can also ask your network if they use any banks in particular. And if you're someone who really needs the simplicity, start by checking with your current bank on what they offer. You already have a login for it. And gang, here's another tip for how to build that initial shortlist. Use generative AI to make the list for you. So in ChatGPT, I'm going to create a prompt for a list of CDs in table format so that I can copy and paste it into a spreadsheet. But you can also just ask for a bulleted list of options if you prefer that. And for each result that it gives me, I want the name of the bank, the interest rate being offered, term periods, and notes on any fees, limits, and minimum opening balances. Now, this list is not Bible. Don't just run with whatever ChatGPT gives you because no AI tool is smart enough yet to know in real time what every bank's terms are. So think of it only as an optional starting point to organize your shopping around. And definitely check directly with all the institutions you're evaluating for the most correct information. Then gang, once you've got all the info and you've done your research, it's time to make your choice, make your deposit, sit back and watch your money grow. And don't forget to set a reminder for yourself for that period when you have to decide if you're going to renew your CD or pull your money out. Gang, I hope this video gave you a helpful blueprint for how to get started looking for your next certificate of deposit. If this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And for more tips, be sure to subscribe.